Okay, gang, today we're going to talk about HIT training and is it really the answer? And can you teach an old dog new tricks? I'm an old dog. I'm hoping to learn some new tricks with this HIT training. Here you see a quote from Arthur Jones, who's pretty much the inventor of high intensity training. And here's a star pupil, Casey Viator, who we all know was Mr. America. And there's Arthur. Actually, Arthur was himself a bodybuilder, and that's why he designed his machines. Now, HIT training, and there's Ellington Darden, who competed and did well in bodybuilding before he ever got in touch with or worked with Arthur Jones, which he eventually did. There he is at age 65, and this was from an interview with Testosterone Nation that I listened to and watched, and it was pretty good. And in which they talked about Arthur Jones here with the alligators. At one point, he was actually capturing wild animals in Mexico and selling them to little roadside circuses and stuff. So he's always kind of a huckster. And there, again, this is an article out of Iron Man, early 70s, where he's talking about negative exercise being the best kind of exercise. There's Casey again. Now, while HIT training was largely centered around negative training, it wasn't all negative training. There were other forms which we will discuss. But here's I didn't realize that there's actually a whole series of Nautilus called Nautilus Omni, which were built for negative only training. That was the lower leg and hip machine that you saw Casey on. And here's Mike, who later came out with his own theories. But it was, again, he met Casey in the 70s, liked the idea, and here's a shoulder machine. Now, this was from an article that was or actually a YouTube video from 2019, which you can look up. It was actually like where they redid the as I was saying, the Colorado experiment, which was in 73, in which basically they took Casey down to like 160 something pounds body weight and then put him on this negative only training for a while, and largely circled around using the Nautilus equipment, although not completely. And they also did some positive work along with the negatives. Of course, in 74, Joe and Vince Gironda came out with basically a critique of the equipment, and this was after the Omni was on the market, basically saying, it's no better than regular equipment, it's too expensive, it doesn't do anything better. Arnold got hurt on it, other guys got hurt on it, and all this kind of stuff. So in the interview with Darden on Testosterone Nation, they talked about there was a point where Arnold and Franco went to go work in Florida with Arthur Jones on the equipment to see how they would do. Long story short, Arnold didn't do all that well, actually quit after a week, and Franco stayed with the program and did very well. And what was the difference? Darden said that Arnold just didn't want to go really to failure. He would always stop short a rep or two. And he said that, like, so Testosterone Nation is like, how come everybody hasn't adopted this? And or why doesn't it work for everybody? He said basically because most people don't really want to go to true failure. They always want to stop a little short. Interestingly, these days, a lot of YouTube guys are out there talking about scientific proof that you don't really have to go to failure to make gains, that you can stop maybe a couple reps short, and that might be better for you. I don't debate any of that stuff, but, obviously this worked for some people, including, obviously, Casey Viator. Ellington Darden used it and was still using it at age 65 in a modified version. And of course, Dorian Yates, and I'm sure there's been some other folks that don't come to my mind, but all those guys did pretty well.